Hello students, in this video we are going to cover topical past papers of the topic straight line graphs. But before doing so, I would be introducing some of the uh, content details of this topic given by CIE for the exams in 2025 and onwards. Uh, the first content is coordinates. Use and interpret Cartesian coordinates in two dimensions. For example, we have got x comma y as the Cartesian coordinate. And for this, that means that if this is a point having 1, 2, 3, and 1, this is the point having coordinate 3, 1. That means uh, the point has got 3 units distance from the origin in the x-axis and 1 unit along the y-axis. So this is 3 comma 1. What does that mean? Similarly, if I've got for example -1 and -2, that means from the origin I need to move 1 unit leftwards along the x-axis and 2 units downwards along the y-axis. So this is the interpretation of these Cartesian coordinates. Then drawing linear graphs. When we need to draw a linear graph, uh, we can make this graph with at least 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2. If we have got 2 points at the minimum, then we can draw the graph of a line. Now, draw straight line graphs for linear equations. When we have got this equation y equals to -2x plus 5. So, if I compare it with the basic equation of the line y is equal to mx plus c, the coefficient of x is m, that is a gradient. So in this case, gradient is -2. So the value of m is -2 and c stands for the y-intercept, the point where the graph of the line intersects the y-axis. So in this case, the graph of the line would be intersecting the y-axis at 0.05. So if I need to draw it, I can have one value of x could be 0 replaced into this equation. I can have y equals to -2 times 0 plus 5, that is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be the point 0, 5. And then I need to have any other point. Let me have x is equal to 2, for example. Then the value of y would be -2 times 2 plus 5. That is -4 plus 5. That is 1. So if this is x is 1, 2, and then this is the point 2, 1. So when I would be drawing the line through this, it would be looking like this one. And now I need to see where this line is going to intersect the x-axis. That it would be doing through this. We can find out that point by calculating its x-intercept. X-intercept is the point where the graph cuts the x-axis as this one. So for x-intercept, we put y is equal to 0 always. So in this case, 0 is equal to -2x plus 5. So -5 is equal to -2x. So the value of x is -5 divided by -2, which will give me x is equal to 2.5. So this x-intercept is 2.5 and the point is 2.5 comma 0. So this is how we draw the graph of this equation. Same way we can do the plotting and drawing the graph of this one and this one. But before drawing the graph of this equation, we need to, it's better if we can convert it back into this form, y is equal to mx plus c. That means 2y is equal to negative 3x plus 5. And then the value of y is negative 3 by 2x plus 5 by 2. So simplifying it further, negative 1.5x plus 2.5. So now the gradient of this line is m, that is negative 1.5, and the y-intercept is going to be 0, 2.5. So C is 2.5. So its graph would be drawn as we have drawn this graph. So this was a little explanation of this course content. Then gradient of linear graphs. Find the gradient of a straight line. A gradient can be found out in different ways given the points and given the graph or given the equation. When 2 points are given, x1, y1 and x2, y2, we would be using the formula of the gradient, that is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. From the graph, again, we would be choosing any 2 points and we would be replacing the same formula to calculate the gradient. And from the equation, we need to write that equation in this form, y is equal to mx plus c, and whatever would be the coefficient of x in this form, when y has been made the subject of the equation, then this would be known as the gradient of the given equation. Okay. Then for the second, as like for example, I can give you an example. In the previous case, when we were having this equation, the gradient became minus 1.5. And in this case, the gradient is negative 2. Sorry, this was the gradient of this one. And in this case, the gradient is the coefficient of x, or if I can write it down as minus 4x plus 7. So the gradient is the coefficient of x, that is negative 4. Okay. Now, calculate the gradient of a straight line from the coordinates of 2 points on it, as I've already explained in this case. So this is what we need to do. Okay, then we need to see the next thing, that is calculating the length and midpoint. Calculate the length of a line segment. For that, we need to do, suppose we have got 2 points on a line. A line is being drawn like this, and we have got 2 points on that line. This one and this one. We call the point lying on the left side as the first point, and the point lying on the right side as the second point. So its coordinates would be x2, y2. So formula for the length of the line segment is x2 minus x1 whole squared plus y2 minus y1 whole squared whole square root. This is the length of the line between these 2 points. Then find the coordinates of the midpoint of a line segment. Suppose we have got the midpoint of this line to be this one. That means it lies halfway between these two endpoints. So from this starting point, we need to travel half along the x-axis and half along the y-axis. And same goes from the other endpoint like this. So the formula to calculate the midpoint of any 2 points is the averages of the x coordinates and the average of the y coordinate. Means we would be adding this x1 with this x2 and then divide it with 2 to calculate the average of this to have the halfway distance or the midpoint and for the x coordinate, and same goes for the y. Okay, then we have got equations of linear graphs. Interpret and obtain the equation of a straight line. Questions may use and request lines in different forms. For example, ax plus by is equal to c, as we have already seen, and this was the basic form. And then x is equal to k. This means that if this is x is equal to 2, for example, and we are required to find out the equation of this line. So the equation of this line would be x is equal to 2. So x is equal to something, any constant, that means a vertical line. Similarly, if we need to draw the graph of x is equal to -3, for example, so it would be -1, -2, and then -3 somewhere here. So the graph would be this one. This graph would be of the equation x is equal to -3. And now same can be done for y as well. Y is equal to 1 would be having a graph like this. Passing through y is equal to 1. And same it could be for y is equal to -1, for example, passing through y is equal to -1. That means below the x-axis. This would be the graph of y is equal to -1. Okay. Involve finding the equation when the graph is given. When we are given with this graph, for example, we need to find out the equation. What is the equation of the line? We can do it to find the equation of the line when the graph is given. We can find out its y-intercept first, where the line is passing through the y-axis. As in this case, it is passing through y is equal to 1. So C is 1. And M, I told you that is the gradient of the line. For this line, y is equal to 1. it is a horizontal line, so its gradient is 0. So m would be 0 times x plus c is 1. So you see the equation has been drawn y is equal to 1. So y is equal to 1 or y is equal to minus 1. These are the equations of horizontal lines. These are not problems. Okay, so what we need to do is that we just need to have this form. We need to find C, we need to find M. And if, for example, we do not know M, as was this case, like unlike this case, and as in this case, we had that the line was the horizontal line and its gradient was 0. So we just substituted that value. And if, for example, we do not know the gradient of the line, we would again be following the same procedure to choose any 2 points on the line, and then we would be using the formula for the gradient y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, and then we would be seeing where the line is intersecting the y-axis, or we can use this form as well. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1 if we do not know the or if the line is not intersecting the y-axis and it does not have any y-intercept c. So we can use this form of the equation as well to find the equation of the line. Okay, then this bullet asks for the gradient or y-intercept of a graph from an equation. So this is the gradient and this is the y-intercept. And for example, find the gradient and y-intercept of the graph with the equation this. Okay, let's take an example. We can have 5x plus 4y is equal to 8. It can be simplified to 4y is equal to negative 5x plus 8. And then y is equal to negative 5 by 4 x plus 8 by 4. So this can further be simplified to give negative 5 by 4x plus 2. So generating that y-intercept is 2. This is the value of C and this is the value of M, negative 5 by 4. And this is how we need to transform a given equation into the given form. Then candidates are expected to give equations of a line in a fully simplified form. As you see, 8 by 4 has been simplified to write down 2. And we can further simplify negative 5 by 4 if required in the question. And one thing I need to mention here, whenever the gradient is going to be a negative value, the line is going to be drawn upside down like this. That would be sloping downwards. And when the line is sloping upwards, that means m is greater than 0. And here it means m less than 0. So you need to observe that in both the cases, you need to choose 2 points, one being on the left, which is called the first point, and the second one being chosen on the right side, which is the second point. So you see, when the height decreases from left to right, the slope is decreasing and it is having a negative gradient. And when the line is sloping upwards from left to right, the gradient is positive and the line is sloping upwards. Okay, now I come towards solving these questions. Question number 1, calculate the gradient of the line L. Now again, as we discussed, we need to choose 2 points on the given line. Let the first point be this one. The coordinates of this point are 0, 5, because its x coordinate is 0 and y coordinate is 5, and the coordinate of this point 10, 0. So we have got these 2 points, and we are required to find out the gradient. So we would be finding its gradient as m is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That is 0 minus 5 divided by 10 minus 0. That is negative 5 divided by 10. The answer is negative 1 by 2 or negative 0.5. So this is how we calculate the gradient of the line. So the gradient of the line is negative 0.5. Now part B. Write down the equation of the line L. For the equation of line, we need to have either y is equal to mx plus c. Using this formula, y is equal to negative 1 by 2. I'm using this form times x, though it is not necessary, plus c. The c value is the y-intercept as this, so that is 5. So this is the equation. Y is equal to negative 1 by 2x plus 5. Now it's question number 2. A straight line passes through 2 points with coordinates 6, 8 and 0, 5. Work out the equation of the line. We need to find out the equation of the line. So for that, we need to use again y is equal to mx plus c. I need to have this m gradient. So gradient can be calculated as y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That is, let me take this as the first point, being x, the lower one, 0, and this is the later value of x, that is 6. So this is y x1, y1, and this is x2 and y2. So y1 would be 5 minus 8 divided by 0 minus 6. That will give me negative 3 divided by negative 6, which is 1 by 2. Now for C, we can replace any of the points, any of the given 2 points into this equation. Calculating C, y is equal to 1 by 2x plus C. I'm going to replace, let's suppose, this point. That would make the working more easy. So y is 5, 1 by 2 times x is 0 plus c. So the value of c is 5. Now c and m have been calculated. So final answer could be y is equal to 1 by 2x plus 5. So this is the required equation. Also, if we do not find this c by this point, we can find out this c using this point as well. Let me show it to you as well. C being calculated using this point 6, 8. Y is equal to 1 by 2 x plus c, and the value of y is 8. The value of x is 6 plus c. 2 3s are 6, and then 8 minus 3, that is equal to c. Again, the value of c is 5. You see, And then we can put the value of m and c here to get that equation finally. And even after this, we can solve this question in another way as well. Once we have got the value of m to be 1 by 2, then I can use y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. This equation. And in this, I can replace any of these two given points. So I'm using this point. Y minus y1 is 5 is equal to m is 1 by 2. X minus x1 is 0. So 1 by 2x minus 5. And then shifting this 5 to the other side, that will give me y is equal to 1 by 2x plus 5 again. So you have seen that no matter which method you adopt and which point you replace it in, you get the same answer. You get the same equation. Okay. Now it's question number 3, part A. The equation of a straight line is y is equal to mx plus c. Which letter in this equation represents the gradient? As we have been doing that, m represents the gradient. Write down the equation of the line shown on the grid below. Okay. This is the graph of the line. We can see that uh, we can do it like in two different ways. We can find out the equation of the line by choosing any 2 points on the given line. Let me choose this point and this point. So this point is in between -2 and -3. So this point would be -2.5. Let me change the color of this marker. And this point is in between 4 and 6. So this is 0, 5. So for m now, we can have again y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That means this is y2, 5 minus y1, that is 0, divided by x2, that is 0, minus x1, that is negative 2.5. So that will give me 5 divided by positive 2.5, and simplifying it, I get 2. Now, as I told you earlier, that if the line would be sloping upwards, the gradient would be a positive number. So in this case, it is a positive number. So that's why that is compatible, as I already told you with that. Okay, m is this. Now I can choose any of the 2 points. Let me choose this point 0, 5 to have the equation of the line. Y is equal to mx plus c. That is 2x plus c. You see, this is the c, the y-intercept, which is 5. So the equation of the line is 2x plus 5. Okay, now I proceed even further. 2x plus 5. Now for part C, complete the table of values for y is equal to 12 minus x squared. Okay, when the value of x is -2, I can calculate it like -2 square. That is 12 minus 4. Please be vigilant that -2 square means -2 times -2. That is positive 4. And positive 4 being subtracted, so that is 12 minus 4. That is 8. So that will give me 8 here. For 0, When I replace x is equal to 0, the value of 1 would be, will be 12 minus 0, that is 12 only. And when I replace x is equal to 3, so 12 minus 3 square, 12 minus 9, that is 3. So this is how we complete this table. Okay. Now for part D. On the grid, draw the graph of 12 minus x squared. Eight, 12, and 3. I would be using these points and jotting these points on the graph, and then I would be drawing the graph. 8, 12, and 3. I'm going to replace x equal to -4 into this, and the value of y is -4. So -4 corresponds to -4. This is the point. Then -3 corresponds to 3, in between 2 and 4. This is 2. So this is 3, but that corresponds to -3. So this is the second point. Then -2 corresponds to 8. So this is the point. -1 corresponds to 11, in between 10 and 12. This one. Then 0 corresponds to 12. This one. Then 1 corresponds to 11. This one. Then 2 corresponds to 8. This one. 3 corresponds to 3. Here. And then 4 corresponds to -4. Now I need to join all these points using a smooth curve. That is a bit careful task that needs to be done. You see here, there is a bulge that should not be there. So let me do it with a pointed one. This one, and then on the other side, it would be something like this. So the basic thing is clear, though in exams, this should not be the case. Doubling is not allowed, and this bulging and Vibration of the curve is not allowed, and that may uh, lead to losing some marks. So since I'm just using it on the screen, so that's a bit tedious thing. Okay. Uh, we are done with the drawing of the graph. Then part E, write down the coordinates of the points of the intersection of the straight line with curve. Okay. I need to clarify a concept here. For coordinates, we need to see that this is the point where the graphs are intersecting, and then this is the point. We need to see those points like this thing and then this thing. That will give me the coordinates of the point, and similarly, this is the point of intersection. And this, something like this. So jotting down these points would give me the coordinates. The points are -3.8 and -2.7. This is -2.7 along the y, and along the axis is -3.8. So the point is -3.8, -2.7. And this point, the other one, is 1.8 and 8.7. This x coordinate is 1.8 and 8.7. So these are the points of intersection of these two curves. I was going to tell you another thing. Normally the question would be solve. When it is the keyword solve, in that sense, we just need to give the answers of the x coordinates of the points of intersection. So x would be -3.8, or x is equal to 1.8. But when it is required, as was the statement in this question, find the points of intersection. So these are the points, this one and this one. Okay. Now this is the find the coordinates of the midpoint of the line joining the points A 2, -5, B 6, 9. So the midpoint is 2 plus 6 divided by 2, and then -5 plus 9 divided by 2. That will give me 8 by 2, that is 4, and -5 plus 9, 4 by 2, that is 2. So this is 4, 2. Now for question number 5, find the coordinates of the midpoint of the line joining the points this and this. So again, I need to do it 4 plus 8 by 2, the x coordinates, and then the y is -7 plus 13 divided by 2. So that is 12 by 2 and 6 by 2. That is 6, 3. So this is the midpoint. And this was the midpoint. Okay, now question number 6. Write down the equation of the straight line through this point, which is parallel to this one. When the lines are parallel, for parallel lines having slopes m1 and m2, their gradients are equal. And for perpendicular lines with gradients m1 and m2, their product is -1. So I'm using this basic concept that when we need to have the equation of a parallel line to a given line, then their gradients are the same. Now, since in this line m is 2, so the gradient of the line that would be parallel to this given line, that would also be having m is equal to 2. And this is the point through which the line is passing. So I can calculate y is equal to mx plus c. I can replace the given point. Y is -3, m is 2, x is 0 plus c. So that means the value of c is -3. So y is equal to mx plus c. That would yield 2x plus -3. That is 2x minus 3. That is the required equation of the line. Now, this is question number 7. The line with equation y is equal to 2x minus k passes through the point 4, 0. Work out the value of k. Since the line is passing through this point 4, 0, that means the line would be satisfying this point. That means when I replace the given point in y is equal to 0, 2 times x is 4 minus k. So this is 8 minus k is equal to 0, or the value of negative k is this, and the value of k is 8. So the value of k is 8. So the main thing that had to be done was the replacing of the given point into the given equation when the line is passing through that point. Okay, now it is question number 8. The distance AB is 11 units. That means this distance is 11 units. Then write down the equation of the line B, which is parallel to this given line. Okay. We need to find out the equation of this line. Now, since this distance is 11 units, and we can observe that 2x plus 5, that tells us that the y-intercept C is 5. That means this point is 5. The C is 5 and the point is 0, 5. That means that this line is 5 units above this origin, and consequently, this tells us that this line is 6 units below the origin or the x-axis. And since the line is parallel to the given line, so it should be having the same gradient. That is 2. But the y-intercept or C has been changed, and this point is x0 and y is -6. So the value of C for this is -6. So replacing these two things in the equation y is equal to mx plus c, that would give me 2x plus -6. Or finally, the equation is 2x minus 6. That is the required equation of the line. Then it's part B. Find the coordinates of the point C where this line crosses the x-axis. The equation was y is equal to 2x minus 6. We need to find out the coordinates of the point C where this line crosses the x-axis. When a line is crossing x-axis, its height above the x-axis is 0. That means its y coordinate is going to be 0. So that's what I'm going to do. In this case, I'm going to replace y is equal to 0 in this equation. So I would get 0 is equal to 2x minus 6, or 6 is equal to 2x. The value of x is 6 by 2, that is 3. So the coordinates of point C are x comma y, that is 3 comma 0. So that is the required point C. Then this is the equation of a straight line can be written in the form this one. Rearrange this equation to make y the subject. So making y the subject of the formula, let me first of all shift this -3x to the other side. Then I'm shifting 8 to the other side. And then I'm dividing both sides by 2. -1.5x plus 4. So that is the required form of the equation, making y as the subject of the formula. One thing that you need to take care of is that since we know that the equation of the line is y is equal to mx plus c, you need to bring x term first on the right side, and then you need to write down the constant term. So that's what I have done. I have written x term first, and then I have written the constant term 8 after that. Okay, now it's part B. Write down the gradient of the line. So the coefficient of x is the gradient, m. So m is equal to -1.5. That is the required gradient. So this is how this question is to be done. Write down the coordinates of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. This was the equation. The gradient was -1.5, and the equation was y is equal to -1.5x plus 4. So I need to have the coordinates of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. When it is crossing the y-axis, like this, for example, that means we need to find out its y-intercept, which is 4. And when we need to give it in the form of a point, so y-intercept C is 4, and the point on y-axis is going to be x0 and y4, 0, 4. So this was the worksheet for the graphs of lines, linear graphs, and the topic was all that we have discussed. So I hope you would have liked this video and you would have understood the concepts. So that's it from my side. Take care of yourself and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.